People in the front, people in the back, people
and
moving
those in
aside,
between.
those in between the sheets. There, I say, hello, welcome to the Just Bake channel.
Just
And
break.
on the JBC Just Bake channel, we do things like docs with Fat Cat. What is that? You say, young pastry? Docs is a short word for documentaries with
Teach them.
Fat Cat. Okay,
Let's
Fat Cat is
read.
the man right
So,
there in the hood at all times, in the hood, physically at all times. You have no, and
and
then
literally.
you tell them, so how many often do you take a shower in that hood? They don't understand the levels of the hood. Okay?
They don't.
They don't. You got to do it. You got to go to extreme levels to give them what they need. All right. So once a week here on the JBC, we do a segment called Docs with Fat Cat, and we do documentaries, man. As once was said, came from the corner of those that know and want to hear and be involved and enjoy. It is considerably a digital book club.
Or what?
Digital book club ish type. That's what we
Yeah.
do. So we're comparing it to that. We watch documentaries and we talk shit about them as if you would read a book and go and
And
talk shit about your
I,
books.
I like it. I
This
like
is just a shorter version because everybody's reading a fucking novel in a day.
it. Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even in a
This is
week. It's a
true.
lot of reading to go down for some times. But
This is true.
anyways, what we do, we watch these bad boys. We go around the horn. We pick one and we discuss it. We usually stick with Amazon Prime because we all got Prime and we enjoy their documentaries. So
Plus, plus,
hmm,
the shit's free.
this is free. Well, you're paying for Amazon Prime, so something's being paid for somewhere.
That
Uh,
is true. That is a good point.
but anywho, this week, none other than the guy, Fat Cat, has selected
Okay.
the Doctor Suite.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was who put the Klux in the Klux Klan, or did I say it wrong?
Who put the Klan in Ku Klux?
Fuck.
There you go. You
Who
almost
put
had
the?
it. You
All
almost had
right.
it.
Who put the
You
Klan in
almost had it.
Klux Klan?
There you go.
And
And it
this
wasn't. And I can tell you that. I tell you right now, it wasn't me.
wasn't true. No.
Me.
Taínos had nothing to do with that. But so yeah, the Klan, Klux Klan, here known in this country, the men with sheets, radicalist
Yep. Yep.
group. Excuse me.
God bless.
Thank you.
All of those because we tight and
Thank you.
everything.
Thank you. What was the term they used? Not a radicalist group. They used them as hate groups, or
Yeah. Now
there
they're
was
hate
other
groups, but
terms.
back,
They organized something groups. They called them. I forgot what he said in there. But
back then they were holding the culture.
mm,
Their culture
right. So
supposedly.
the Ku Klux Klan was this was about the guy who did a documentary was a Scottish fellow, which is very surprising to me. I kind of enjoyed that angle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It
I
was a
think I
Scottish
think that
guy with a
yeah,
Scottish accent, and
yeah,
basically he dove into the startup of the Klan and how he was taking the historical events of hearing it from Scotland across the pond, hearing about, hey, did you guys hear that the Klan is saying that they run with our traditional and they're like with us in Scotland and Irish and they fucks with us? Okay,
pretty much.
let's go check them out. Let's go fact check these niggas. This niggas
There you
bloodline.
go.
I
There
don't
you
want to be
go.
attached to that. Let's go fact check them. So basically, he's put a documentary to kind of look behind the Klan and see if there was some kind of ties into Scottish heritage and the settlers that from Scotland and Ireland that made it here to this country and
Yeah.
are
Yep. Yep.
from that lineage is where they're saying started
Yep.
Smith's Clay. So basically, he was digging into this, going down to the deep south, putting his hands in the mud and feeling what it was all about.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So
Yep.
P, P, what pulled you about this one? You want to give a little touch about why you selected this bad boy
Well,
right here?
yeah. I'm gonna just be I'm gonna just be
Is it
brutally honest.
because I'm black? Sorry.
I'm gonna just be brutally honest. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean. Oh, because last time I know you guys noticed I wasn't really looking at you guys. I was paying attention, but I wasn't like looking at the screen and pretty much, looking at you guys for like the first 10 minutes, like the first 8 minutes of last week's doc. And the reason is because I knew it was me. I knew I was on deck and to come up to the plate, and I needed to have material. You know what I'm saying? So that was my little time for getting the material. And what more than to see is who put the Klan in Klux. That's all it was. The title. I saw the title. I said, bingo. We have to do that.
So it's because I'm black.
Not at all.
No, that's okay. So the Klan, the title alone is an interesting title, I would say.
It was
that
because
title,
I'm Spanish American. That's why.
And they are in the same boat as anybody that came in the path of the Klan that wasn't involved with the Klan, who wasn't a big dominant white fella, a certain kind of white fella. Not every white fella was accepted into that regime.
And I don't put together.
So it was all beautiful things. So with this,
putting it together.
Pete, can you hear me, Fat Cat?
I can, sir. I can.
Okay. Because I'm going to tell you, because you have very sharp headphones, and I
already know where you're going.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing conversations from ladder into the I'm like, what about? Is that a TV? It's not the TV. It's the emotion.
I'm fucking professional. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Cameras off. You don't have to look up. You're not on next week. You don't have to look it up right now.
I'm sorry.
If you're doing that,
I'm fucking professional.
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
All right. So the Klan, Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Brief summary. Ku Klux Klan's been in this country, deeply in the South is where it originated from. We're going to get into the whole thing of it, but, just to know who they are. You're a hate group. It's pretty much nationalists, as they call themselves, believe in the Aryan pure white blood nation and nobody else's. And their pride in their people, which is fine to be proud to be white, but it's taken to a certain level where it's like, no, I'm proud, but I'm better than you, and you need to be in a certain place, and I need to be above you. And that's the kind of shit what the Klan was usually about, from the knowledge. So this was about this guy, Mr. O'Neill, who went on it, quest to get a little bit of information about the Klan and the startup.
I give him props. You know what I mean? Shout outs to the narrator.
Right, because I never really dove into. You hear about it. I guess I never did a big deep check into the Klan. I just knew what they was about, and it was enough for me to be like, okay, I know what the niggas about.
Fuck them, I'm not fucking them.
It's terrible. Fuck them all.
To
I
me.
don't know. Right.
Yeah. FEA, fuck them all. Exactly.
But it's good to sit back and go, where did it come from?
We gotta check these.
Where is your furnace that fuels your engine, man? Where does it belong?
Yeah.
What is the log that you are throwing inside of your fireplace?
Where the fuck your heart at? Truthfully.
Right.
Where the fuck is your heart?
I was interested in actually hearing about this. And from what this documentary uncovered for me, especially big, was I didn't know that it was the lineage of the Scottish Americans here in this country that were the ones who started that up. That was a big one for me, I think.
Yeah, me too.
One would always say when you think about the ones that oppressed, you go with the hierarchies of who the oppressors were. English, French, Spanish, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, can't leave the motherfuckers out either. Come on, don't leave the niggas out.
And then you could put Rome in there when they had their empire. Rome was some, you didn't fuck with Rome.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Rome had a big, Rome was big.
You know what I mean? So I thought it was probably one of those. I guess the Scottish and the Irish from history have been oppressed people, more or less so. So I guess in my natural mind, I guess I guess not to say that, of course they're from another country. They might feel like you guys are different. I ain't fucking with you. But I thought the understanding was a little better. But
I agree.
This uncovered a lot. I mean, he started off with kind of where it started at, which was in was it South Carolina?
He started off at some road fair, which I gotta say, bagpipes should be outlawed. I don't believe.
You don't introduce it as an instrument. It's not a.
If you tell me that you like the sound of bagpipes, I just tell you, hey, I don't believe you. That's it. That shit is.
You know what I like about bagpipes the most though? It's just because one of my favorite movies is fucking Braveheart, which now obsessed me because now I'm hearing this about Scotland, and I thought Braveheart's one of my favorites. I thought I was Scottish at one point.
Scooter.
Because of that damn movie. I loved it so much. And the Scottish people had a special place in my heart because they were oppressed, and I seen a lot of that. So I fucked with them. Not to blame all people, but the people that started the Klan were from Scottish descent, and they were all trying to make it the Scottish way.
Allegedly. We gotta say allegedly.
Well, I mean, I can't say allegedly because they had 6 guys' names that started it, and they were fucking Scottish lineage. So I think that's case closed. You know what I mean? They're those 6 guys had Scottish names. They were from Scottish families that migrated here.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, but they were migrant. Their fathers were Scottish. So yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay,
right.
Okay.
They're all Scottish. They were like Scottish.
I see what you're saying. But
when I say that, I just say that's the lineage they came from.
The lineage.
Yeah, their father.
You know what I mean? They're Scottish. If they were German, they would be German. You know what I mean? But the reason why I'm just saying it, that's like, well, why does it matter what they were? It's because of the ways they were trying to start the Klan up were trying to emulate some traditional. They were incorporating a lot of Scottish traditional stuff. So it's like you basically gave a bad name for your Scottish people by coming up with that. Not every Scottish person from Scotland believes that or is like that. But what amazed me the most is oppression. People that get oppressed turn into the oppressors at some point, sometime, man. And that's what's crazy.
Bro, I don't even think it's crazy. I think it's human. It's how many humans are, because think about the dork in high school that got picked on that becomes a cop. What does he now do? It's not like he goes out there and protects the fucking little guy that always got picked on. No, as soon as the person gets into power, they almost go for more of a revenge thing instead of a hey, let me protect everyone else so this doesn't happen to them as well. They get into position, they're like, all right, now it's my turn. You know, that type of thing where a lot of people are just like that, you know?
Right.
It's very important. I like that.
And you think about sometimes it's like the PTSD that some people might have had when they came over, and now they're raising the people that, you know what I mean? You know, like if a country fucks you up for that long, you know what I'm saying? Like, oppress your people, and you're leaving to find a new way. Yep. And you find a way, and then you find the influence in that country. And almost to blend in, you got to step on somebody. I feel like we've seen the same thing happen with the last one we watched with the Italians who grabbed onto Columbus. It's almost like the Scottish immigrants that came, they had to grab onto something to kind of blend in here in this country. They had to kind of like make their way somehow or do something. You know what I'm saying? Right. To keep, because they were kind of looked at funny too. Like, you gotta remember, they migrated here, so every time they come off, they're different. They sound different, they smell different, they look different in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? When they talk.
I still thought it was interesting in the beginning that they're having these huge Scottish festivals in South Carolina, which you would just never expect. That was interesting to me. You know, I'm not mad at it, you know, because that's something else too, that when a lot of people immigrate here, everybody wants them to forget, you know, their past and kind of abandon it.
Start anew.
Right?
But let's talk about it though.
I don't mind that. I think it's just like, just don't try to change here. You know, like you can have sell all your stuff and do it how you want to. It's just that the whole, I'm not into changing anybody, and I don't think anyone should be trying to change me either. You know, of course, growing and becoming a better person, that's one thing, but the whole like, it was just interesting to me because I never knew. Of course, like you would never think. So, all right, South Carolina has a huge Scottish population. Like it doesn't compute.
And it's like basically they were saying like the mannerisms and the Scottish mannerisms and the way they flowed basically sculpted the Southern ways. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. The Southern hospitality. I was saying that ways were from the olden ways of the Scottish settlers because there were so many down there. You know what I'm saying? So, right. So, and it's like now they kind of felt like they jumped right on board. Like You know, that was interesting to me. It's like, because what they did, they came here and they said, okay, we're going to do what you guys do to blend in. So they went and got slaves. Everybody else got slaves. I got to buy slaves too. You know what I'm saying? And but then they also believed it. It wasn't like they just did it and they felt bad for them. No, they were cool with it. I don't want to take it away. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they're like, oh, we just did it because you were doing it. But it's like, no, we're going to keep with the Joneses. And then when they seen the profit out of it, it's like, okay, this is how we'll make a living off of other people.
Bro, they were the ones to start all that plantations, having plantations.
Right.
You know
that's what I didn't know. Like the Scottish,
like, you know what I mean? Like when cotton came through, when they seen the fields and when they saw the cotton fields pop off, they was like, oh, really? Yeah. All right, check this out. Listen, I'm not gonna be the motherfucker picking that shit. We need to find some people to pick this shit for us.
We got these people. Oh, we got these people here. Y'all say like property, and I can just pull them with papers and shit.
Let's come over here. Let's do this, and then from there, from that, you know what I'm saying? I forgot what the fuck the guy was. The big McLeod. That was the big plantation guy name.
Oh, McLeod. It was there was a hyphen there. Something McLeod. Yep.
So McLeod, you know what I mean, with all the fucking money from picking cotton through slavery and all of that, you know what I mean, started, you can say, was one of the forefathers of starting the fucking armies and soldiers for the Confederacy before the war even popped off also.
Right. Yo, that number was astronomical. When they said about when them numbers jumped and they were like, yo, by the time when cotton hit and became big, it turned into 1.2 million slaves. It's like that's like man. It's just like, yo, we got to up. We need more. We got to make them breed. And think about that. They made slaves breed each other, man, so they can have more slaves.
That's just crazy. To work and just to do that.
Like there was no couples. There weren't couples happening. People. I mean, there were people that would link up and become couples, and in the midst of being at the bottom of the barrel. But there was times where they, I heard stories of, forcing them to, have sex with somebody just so they could breed, man, and have slaves. That's insane. But yeah, I didn't know that the Scottish, basically, lineage heritage were the guys who basically gave the boom to the slavery in this country in the South. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that was a shocker.
And then took a hold of the cotton and all that, and just people, man. People will thrive off the backs of other people, man. It's pretty phenomenal kind of feat.
Yeah, how one of the guys was saying in the documentary, it was an interesting thing and a mind-boggling thing of how you go from being oppressed to then coming over here and doing the same thing. And I guess you can hearken it back to maybe that's all that they know, but it just seems to be, because even when one of the guys was saying, all right, you're cold at night, so you literally go grab a slave and be like, all right, well, I'm gonna just need you to lay over my feet to keep me warm. Wow. And he was saying, and this is one of the things that I understand fully. He was saying, how are you okay acting like that? You know what I mean? That's the shit that I don't understand, and we'll never understand.
I know. He was so spot on with that. He said the problem is, like, at what point does it become something? At what point does a light bulb come off? Like, this is not right. Like, no. Why does that not come on? Like, these are, after being around them, you said you're looking at these faces every day. They're people. You're looking at them every day of souls of lost people that feel useless and hapless and only being used to fuck up. And you just got to pretend your life is normal. Like,
like this is how it goes.
Who's the real slave right now? You're a fucking slave to your own mind, man. Like, if you think that shit's normal, bro. You know what I mean? That's
but then the way they try to make the shit look all good and be correct and be okay, you know what I mean? And then,
that's the South. Then, the South holds on to that, man.
They were also, you know what I mean? The way they try to protect it, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course they making millions of dollars at that time, you know what I mean? Because what the fuck? They got they're not paying nobody. You know what I'm saying? So now they want to keep that lifestyle, but with that lifestyle, that shit was cruelty. That shit was inhumane.
You know what's crazy, man? It all makes sense. It's like, this is, I'm not blaming the Scottish for everything here, but a lot came from what they were saying, man. Like the cotton thing came. Now they're putting the press on the South, because I think the South was making money now, boom, boom, boom. Now they kind of shut them down. You know what I'm saying? The only way we shut them down is we got to take slaves away. So they basically didn't just take slaves away. They came and shut the South down burn down cities, burn shit down, and I don't get nothing. So then you think about it. Now,
the North is a piece of
your
shit,
build,
you
what
ask
that
me.
did was build even more animosity and hate towards the people that were just freed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you free now, but I'm mad because now I got nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you see that part, but then it's that part that you said before. It doesn't. When does it click in your head? Like, yeah, it stopped. But you know why? Because what you were doing was fucking wrong.
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that
right.
just never clicks. It's just like,
right.
oh, let me sit down and tell you, my great granddaddy lost everything. They should. Are you fucking serious? Try to tell a black person that and let him feel an ounce of sympathy, or anybody else. It ain't gotta be a black person. Anybody has a fucking right set of mind that looks at that scenario and goes, "Hey, I totally feel 100% bad for you. I can feel bad for the fact of someone losing their business, but not in that manner." You know what I'm saying?
I feel what you're saying, bro, and I agree with you what you're saying. You know what I mean? Now I would like to, you know what I mean, flip that coin also. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is this, right? Now you seeing how like you were saying, you know what I mean? They want us to feel sympathy and empathy for them, you know, for what they lost. But of course we're not going to give them that because, you know what I'm saying? No, fuck you. That shit was fucked up what you did. Point blank, period. Understandable, right? But here's my little extra, I'm gonna go with it. Is this right? So now the North comes down. You know what I mean? They want to shut them down. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. Slavery. All right. Boom. Now that's over. Now they're free. Now they're having the rights to vote. Boom, 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 boom. Right. I believe also the reason for that is also was this. You know what I mean? All right. Their biggest plan was to shut them down because they was starting to become a monopoly in their own right with the wealth that they was making with no really nothing with no precautions. So now they're figuring the North is figuring, hold up, wait a minute. If they do this, they're gonna get what? More money brings what? More guns. More guns bring what? More men. More men with guns bring what? More power. So I think this is just me. I'm not trying to say. I'm just saying me. I'm just thinking like this. I'm thinking also this was done to also minimize their power. You know what I mean? And also with their funds. You know what I mean? Let
I can
alone
see that.
free
Yeah.
free the slaves. You know what I'm saying? Have this group of people now, you know what I mean, backing us because we freed them. So now they're gonna ride with us on that. And then, but at the
Right.
same time, we're crippling their industry. We're crippling their financial
Right. You can't grow
stability.
cotton. You can't grow cotton in the North, man. You
You
know,
feel what I'm saying?
it's
So
agricultural
so
times. You can't grow
so
cotton in
I
the North.
I
So
think
it's
that
like
was
that business is kicking
I
ass.
I think that was just a big master plan scheme in itself. You know what I mean? But again, that was just me. But
Right. Without the
you know what
cotton
I'm saying?
business, slavery probably would have still been around. Who knows?
Exactly,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? If the
It
because
would
the
have probably
cotton
been something
because
different.
the cotton business got so big, right? Until the next big thing came along, but the cotton business got
Yeah,
so
it
big
would have probably been
that
different.
that's what they said when those numbers increased within 20 years from like I don't know 80,000 to like 1.2 million was insane to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Right. Because at those times, because it was so early you know what I mean, in those times. You know what I mean? We're talking about, you know what I'm saying, 1800s, you know what I'm saying? Early, you know what I'm saying? Late
so this was
1800s.
right
Yeah.
around when right before slavery was abolished, 1860, 1862.
Yeah,
It was
you know
right
what I'm
around the
saying?
time when the push was happening. You know what I'm saying?
And
Uh,
and 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 just imagine all that money they're making at that time, man. It was
right,
astronomical. You know what I
right.
mean?
And like I said, I can understand that side of it of like of a kid not really understanding maybe, and all they know is dad runs around the house fucking miserable all the time, and he's beating on mom now because
Yeah,
he lost
yeah,
everything, and he's so upset, and all he does is blame those guys. I'm raised
yeah.
with that. You know what I'm saying? Now you take that kid, he's raised with that. That's all he's now you just bred one. He's already bred now. Unless he has awakening at some point in his life, he is now a bred soldier to that dad's hate. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
his dad fucking bred a soldier, probably sometimes without even knowing he's doing it.
Hmm.
Unless you have a dad that's intentionally like, look, son, you know, he might not even be that dad, but from how he's acting and what he's saying and what he's doing, that kid, you know, we all do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've done it before. You know, my pops is like, you know, mad at somebody or something at work or shit. You know what I mean? I might meet that nigga one day. Like, I don't like you, nigga. You and my dad mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Hmm.
know, it's
Hmm.
kind of that shit you go through, man. But so I
I
can
heard what you're saying.
understand that part of being raised to that point. But like I said, what Victor goes to spoil, man. You know what I mean? Is Yeah, the North one, they shut them down because the South was trying to secede and have their own shit. And because of the way their money was going, I hear you on that 100%. The way their money was flowing, they could have had their own nation. They could have bought their own United States. They could have had their own shit. And like, we don't need the North. We got our own shit. Matter of fact, we so big, y'all want to get down with us? You know, so.
One thing I don't understand about that though is the war reenactments that they all love in the South, because I just don't get it, because you're losing every time. Weird, like
to them it's pride. To them it's a sort of pride that they fought for what they believed in.
Yo, Phat.
They fought for their businesses.
Fucking
man.
point, bro. That's a great fucking point, because you know what? I'm not going to be showing some shit of me losing every fucking time.
Let's reenact
and
LeBron James losing game
you know what I mean?
6.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I agree with you 100%. Like, you motherfuckers are reenacting the greatest moment in time you motherfuckers lost.
I know. No, that's like the Atlanta Falcons every year reenacted when they blew the biggest blowout, the biggest blow in the Super Bowl. 28-3 in the fucking third quarter. I'm going in the fourth, and they fucking blew that game in the Super Bowl.
The moral, but you know what I mean? What's the moral to that? Oh yeah, we was, still within the game. I mean, shut the fuck up. You lost. Shut up.
Yeah, that's the thing. I respect anybody who has the balls and the gall to go and be a soldier and fight in war. I give anybody respect for that, man. But
for that aspect, yes.
And I think it's that kind of that thing. There is a similarity to the Columbus type situation where the Italians just don't want Italians to be forgotten. And I think Southerners are also in that shit where it's like, well, I mean, you're not going to call them pieces of shit because, man, they were still brave and they still went to war and all that other stuff. And I think they just can't separate the two.
Shit, you don't even know. You don't even know the number of those guys that died that didn't really believe in this shit, man. You don't think there were soldiers that didn't even believe in what was going on, but just felt like they had to because or their families would be in trouble, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's different back then, man. The draft was different. They just grabbed a little nigga 16, like, come on, bro.
Well, that was it. You live here, you live in the South, so of course you're fighting for us.
There was no physical
defectors. Yeah, right. I know. There was no. You can't do this because.
All right, cough. Follow my finger. Well, like, nigga, can you shoot? All right.
I even breathe.
Can you pull a trigger? All right, come with me. That's all you need to do.
That was it.
See that guy that's not wearing something that we're wearing? You shoot him.
But you know what? I just love it though, right? How the Americans, not the original migrate, not the grandfathers, but the Americans, right? Mm-hmm. The ones that were born here, those, right? How they feel the entitlement, right? Because when the guy was talking to them, the answers they were getting, you know what I mean? Well, yeah, it's our this, how they got this and our that. No, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You motherfuckers are getting it from them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and remember how they was in the street with the guy, with the first guy in the street. I'm like, yo, this dude is real. I could be wrong, but he came off to me a little arrogant.
Which one?
You know what I'm saying? In the first interview when he's talking on the street with a couple of guys in the Scottish festival.
When they were with the guy with the hat?
What was it? No.
There was one guy saying about, when my son isn't afraid of bagpipes anymore, I'm going to bring him through. That type of dude.
Yeah. I think it was in that scene when he was talking to them dudes. You know what I mean? And he's how he had the real thick accent.
Not the guy in the rocks with the glasses, right? He was like informational.
No, not him. No, that's later on. That was later. That's later.
No, he was in the beginning there earlier. They were sitting down. He had glasses on. I forgot what they were talking about. Go ahead.
Well, no, these guys not. They were in the. No, this was in the beginning when they were in the Scottish festival. You know what I'm saying? And how everybody kept saying, how he kept asking them too. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you Scottish? He's like, oh yeah. Well, how much do you live? The real way of back home. Oh well, I don't know, but today I'm living it 100% today because it's the festival. What? Like that tells you how much this means to you, that you're gonna really do it today 100%.
Right.
like I felt kind of bad for him because I know where he coming from, and and believe me, being Puerto Rican, I'm very proud of that. So I can understand where he's proud of being Scottish as well. So he wants to see these motherfuckers and why they fucking celebrate. You know what I mean? So and that's one thing about the documentary that I respected of him so much because he was so prideful that he wanted to see himself to the other people to be like, yo, let's see where you at with it. You know what I mean? And I liked it that, but to me,
Right.
those people were very arrogant, man. You know what I'm saying? So much to where they were like, they were the ones that invented, or they were the ones that were the original settlers type shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm, I got a little twisted, but that's how I felt in that time when that dude was doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what's crazy? It's I think like people carry their tradition heavy, man. You know what I mean? Whether it's
I agree.
I feel like if you know how you cripple somebody's pride, man. Truth, man. If you really gave somebody truth in something that they're really proud about, that would cripple that. You know what I mean? When you have like these, when I say that, I don't mean like go around crippling everybody's pride. I mean like when somebody's proud when they probably shouldn't be type. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're praising, like you said, they're fucking praising like losers of a war. You know what I'm saying? Like there's statues in the South, but you got to remember too, the South ran their own show down there. Even though they lost the war, they kind of seceded slowly, but they still built their own statues. They still put Robert E. Lee down there because that's their man. They still kept plantations up and shit. You know what I'm saying? As constant reminders to be seeing shit like that.
And what they say is how the KKK formed was these cats came back from war and everything was burnt down. They said they came back to their, like if they had a business, they had Pulaski, if they had a business,
Tennessee.
They came back, that business was burnt to the ground. They said everything was burnt except for like the courthouse, right? Something like that.
Right.
And so these cats came back and they seemed to, from what they were saying, is that the KKK didn't start out as a hate group. It almost started out as like a
fraternity.
Yeah, a fraternity type thing. Where they said it wasn't necessarily anything bad at first. It was just they had this group together and they played music.
A group of guys who were like-minded people.
Yeah. Right, they like to act and play,
entertainment. Right, there was an entertainment
squad.
Yeah.
And one thing I like that, remember the dude that was outside with the white hair that was talking to the guy, and he showed him the names. Remember, because there was that thing that was turned around against the building, and one of the quotes I wrote down that he said that I could feel where they were coming from. He said, "This was their home, but it wasn't their government." So they came home to like, I recognize this place, but now all the rules are different and everything change is tough for anybody.
Like the U.S. took over Iraq. I get it. I mean, you guys are having a democracy now.
Yep.
But that's fucked
Have
up,
fun with
man.
that, You
like it or you don't.
What I mean?
You know,
that was that's fucked
but
up.
and then there was like the jabs that came out, man. It's like, okay, so now that people are upset, so who can we blame?
But then
we gotta blame them. So now even in the entertainment senses, they started their main characters in these entertainment senses were making fun of like black people on the blackface. You know what I'm saying? And doing all that stuff. That was like their constant keeping a reminder of those people are the reason why we're like this. Like there's no accountability. You know what I mean? It's like you're blaming the oppressed for the reason why you guys don't have shit right now. Because you want to fight to keep them and you lost, and now you lost to a government that now controls you. But my thing is, when you picked up that arm to go fight for them cats, you knew what you was fighting for. So therefore, when you come home to nothing, that's what you risk for going out there because you lost. You know what I mean? If the North lost and the South took over and was up there, you know what? Every Northerner went home to nothing either. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the laws of war almost. You know what I'm saying? Like you lose, nigga. That's it. You're odds. We got you.
You gotta understand too.
We do something.
You gotta understand too. You gotta people gotta keep in mind as well is that like these motherfuckers, were fighting for a lost cause anyway.
Yep.
Well, it's wealth, man. And like you said, what's the line that 5 you always say? Follow the money, man. Why are you angry? Money's dried up, man. Yep. And then you get a couple of rich people with influence. They can easily convince the man that's working under him because you know what? He was working, getting money for that man too. You know what? We got nothing.
I got it.
And it's all their fault.
I got it.
And then
I got it.
And that fought.
I got it.
And this is why we got to do
I
this.
got it.
And when people are down, it's the same shit Hitler did. When people are at their worst, he picks them up with hate. You know what I'm saying? Hitler did the same shit.
They were scared. They were scared, man. I could see it. They were scared as hell. They were scared because you know what? Because now, you know what I mean? The people that they tried to oppress now had political power. So now, since they were scared of now the empowerment that black people had now because they had the right to vote, they was thinking, oh shit, well fuck now.
I'm gonna go deeper than I'm gonna go past the power of voting. It's going like, oh my God, that wild ass animal we just kept in the cage forever is finally out.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not even just like it's just like, oh no, people don't. They're like on their own. People don't own them now, and it's the scared of like, oh, that gorilla gonna bite me now. Remember that time when I did X, Y, and Z? Remember that time I did like, oh, that's your ass now. And you know what I mean? It's like that's what the fear was. And then when they start showing those pictures,
they were scared because of what the energy they gave off. They was going to reciprocate back to them.
You gotta imagine that. You treat somebody like shit forever, and it finally snaps back in your face.
It's human nature. That's human nature. Like Phat said, that's human nature. That's gonna happen. Especially if you were very, very cynical and gruesome to them. Oh, hell no. Y'all think now, hold up. Oh, we got, and you think we're gonna just forget? No. Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all motherfuckers got to pay for some shit right quick.
You know what makes me chuckle? The vision of a sleepless ex-plantation owner who thinks they're coming to get him.
Well, imagine this too. You got to think about
that shit. Think about a window every night. They come and get you. You should be scared, motherfucker.
With a candle, with a candle.
Who's that? Bo, is that you? I was always good to you, Bo. The fuck out of here.
Sweating his ass off.
Oh my God. That vision is enjoyable to me. Go ahead.
You got to remember too that generations before that did it. So that's got to be a crazy feeling too of like 4 generations already did this, and now when we're coming up to it, it gets canceled for us. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to think about back in the day. Think about the rumors, because I'm sure back in the day, people at the saloon, people at the bar talking about, yo, man, I heard they're about to shut this shit down. And what? Yeah. No, man, this is happening forever. This ain't never getting shut down.
What?
This is our way of life. That's how we do. How are we gonna make money? Man, that must have been like I love thinking about the back area of real people that were living in that life. Man, did you hear about? No, it can't be. Man. And then imagine in the newspaper, the news of like, yo, they're about to vote on this shit. This is about to. Oh, we're going to war for this. Oh, yo,
scuttlebutt is forever, bro.
Wow, tattoo that on my back.
Scuttlebutt, like every era the cavemen were gossiping, nigga.
Now check this out, right?
Talk about the weather. What they talk about?
So with that, you know what I mean. With that in mind, you know what I mean. So now, the Klan gets formed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got to go into the six men where they formed their little. They called it a group.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They formed the Klan. You know what I mean? And what was interesting to me were the names, and one of the names that stuck out to me, last name Kennedy. You know what I mean? Like, can it be? You know what I'm saying? Because those. Yeah, because those.
Kennedy. Well, actually, it's funny because working at the Knights of Columbus Museum, when I worked there temporarily, not too long back, they had an exhibition about the Irish immigration to the States, and in that Irish immigration, they had a particular ship they were talking about that was a documented ship in relation to the Knights of Columbus and their journeys with the Irish, because a lot of Knights of Columbus are Irish. And Mr. John F. Kennedy, his great something, whatever, was on that boat. They said from Ireland, so I don't know, Ireland, Scotland. This guy could have been Irish down there. That Kennedy, you know what I'm saying? Because Irish and Scottish have similar, like names and stuff. They're like they're neighbors. Yeah, they're brothers. I probably wouldn't be able to identify an Irish from a Scot. You know what I mean? They're very similar with their accent.
Very.
But yeah, so I think that would hold true to be like that could be the lineage. from Mr. Kennedy himself.
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna speculate.
Yeah. It's
Hey, I have no proof. Let me say that. I have no proof. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to put two and two together to see if I'm just throwing it on the wall. If it sticks, it sticks. If it's a duck, it's a duck. Whatever. But that last name was very interesting. You know, I kind of thought it was, one of those, but I guess it wasn't. But hey.
Yeah, it piqued my attention. Definitely. I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
I know that one, you know?
Right.
I know that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy how, they first wanted to make something look innocent.
Right. They build up the fear amongst people around them to believe that it was gonna get bad.
A fucking costume, bro.
It was gonna get bad if they didn't kind of formulate and kind of join this brotherhood or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You know
what was weird?
Did you see the costume?
Yeah.
The
original one. Yeah, the original one was something else.
But that's also what I didn't.
Shit,
but also the bullshitting was annoying too, about how,
yes,
because even remember the lady was there and she's explaining how, well, you can see the stitching is done haphazardly, so that's supposed to be a telltale sign that this is a costume, and it's not. It's like,
that's somebody
that's when there needs to be an adult in the room, and that's what I mean. That's where there needs to be an adult in the room that just goes, no, you know what I mean? Like, just no.
Right. Yes.
No, we're gonna go with poor craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't do a good job. It was not a good job they did on it. Or maybe on this particular one that you have isn't a good job.
He just had, or that was just the thread he had, or whoever had at the time.
Well, that's just like art gallery shit. You know what I'm saying? With Monica, when they're dissecting a piece of art and they go so deep in it, and it's funny because the artist will be sitting in the corner just like, nigga, that was nothing where I was supposed to. Whatever you say, you got that. You got that.
I get it. They like it.
Because it means something deep to them. They want the world to see their vision. So, it's my vision and you got to see it. Do you see it? Please tell me you see it. If enough people say they see it, it's going to be great. And I'm going to be the man or woman or whatever.
Again, the duct tape banana on the wall thing. I get it. I understand.
Yep. Yeah, well, and I think this also lends itself to the Columbus documentary we were watching, where we kind of came up with a theory that, we can never admit when we're wrong. Like, it's okay to say that you fucked up and not to be proud of certain parts of your past. Like, even just in a life that everybody has lived, there's certain things you've done in your past that you're not proud of. Everyone has that. Right. So it's weird that we can't ever come to the table and just be like, we fucked that up. My bad. You know what I mean? Like, yes, and we should always look at that as a bad thing. Like we apologize for that, but now we're gonna learn, we're gonna move forward, and we're not gonna do that again. And you can take responsibility, but then it doesn't always have to be hammered home of like, but you guys did. Yeah, we did. Damn, and we fucked up, and we're never gonna do that again. And we're moving forward. And it's the people that have lived before, so you learn from them and you try to be better as you move on, Right.
But if you're raised by that person that's constantly just fucking
and that's what I think
drilling you, and you're just constantly just drilled that shit, and it's like you don't have that sense to get your mind out of it. You know what I mean? Because there are times where you can have a bad parent that's trying to teach you bad ways, but there's something in you that knows better not to. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't want to be that. Not every crackhead or somebody addicted to crack has a kid that's gonna go ahead and do crack now because you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's doesn't always work like that.
Well, I think there also is that unfortunate hovering personality trait in most people of they can't ever believe that their parent is not fully informed and not correct on everything. Like we had said before, there's so many people of hero. There's so many people of like, well, mama, it's fucking Forrest Gump shit. Well, mama said, well, that doesn't. That's also just another human being. Exactly.
Right.
Which brings me to a major fuck you to the Dixon guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And also. A big fuck you to the guy that was the bald head guy that he met in the park that he asked that he could record later down the line. But I want to say it now. A major fuck you to him. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get into that later. But let's get into Dixon first. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fuck
Dixon
that guy.
wrote a book. Yeah, wrote a book called The Klansman, and what he did, and this is so interesting that shows the power of certain media.
And do you have a year on that? Wasn't that like 1902 or something, or 19?
Yeah, it was real early.
It might have been 05, something like that.
Was it 05? Was it early? All right. Was it 1920? Okay.
Real early 1900s. Yes.
But he wrote a book called The Klansman, and what they did was they flipped it. They did a Freaky Friday on him. You know, they switched it around and said, "What if it was white people that were enslaved and black people weren't?" And apparently, this somehow got to everybody as that put the fear in them, right?
Right. And it's like reading a horror. It turned into a horror book.
Yeah,
they're reading a horror novel now. Oh my God, it's gonna happen! And why wouldn't somebody be scared of that? Even if you weren't involved in helping the heavy hand on oppression, you sat back and didn't do anything. So somebody would feel guilty, like, well, they're gonna come kill me too because they're not gonna know any better because I didn't do anything and I didn't help stop it. They're gonna kill us all.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It turns into this mass hysteria. You laugh, but it turns into a mass hysteria panic thing for them. You got to think about
shit.
I mean, we have a lot of references now to kind of debunk shit that we find to not be true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we can visually get some sort of a reference point to see something like that ain't true. Look, I'm visually looking at something that's saying what you're saying is not true. They didn't have that back then, man. So it was kind of like you just had to really, how well can a motherfucker tell a story? You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's really interesting the power of books back then. Like nobody could write a book nowadays that would really do anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I mean, you could write
pure entertainment.
Yeah, entertainment. Talk to him.
My guy, that motherfucker came out. You said back like in the 1900s, right? This motherfucker got movies behind this motherfucking book, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we're gonna get into. That book right there basically sparked the movie that launched the Klan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they say
they relaunched, because that was another thing I forgot to bring up is that they kept saying like they kept making comebacks,
dying out, right?
Yeah. Right. They were rising and falling, right? So they were going around vigilante style through this process. They're vigilante style now. They're going around looking for almost like you're looking for a reason to fucking what that black motherfucker say. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're looking for reasons to put hands and hurt somebody that they're angry and they blame them for their shortcomings. Now we used to live good. We had it good down here.
That was the book. What Thomas Dixon's book was. His book was, like you said, it was a fear tactic. You know what I mean? He played on the phobias of white people. He played on their psyche because what he did was he reversed the roles. You know what I'm saying? Right. He played on their mind of cynicism in the fact that this is a together thing. You know what I mean? When it was only for his single cause and purpose, for his agenda.
Yep.
So you know
what I mean?
It's fair to say the key ingredient to formulating a soldier is fear. Go ahead.
In many ways.
Hey, if a guy's scared for his life, he want to fight for you.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you could say in certain situations you could say that. But what I'm also was going to say was that he did that. You know what I mean? But then to sum it all up was they come out as the saviors and heroes and victors. You know what I mean? Like he painted that picture that is because we're trying to save everybody to be this glorious one or this glorious whatever the fuck you wanted to paint. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we know, and when I mean we, I'm literally talking about me, you, and Five. Like we saw through the bullshit. I could say confidently, and we can be like, man, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck is this guy doing? But it wasn't like that in them times. You know what I mean? And like you were saying, Five, these motherfuckers would have control, but then they would lose control. And now with this guy Dixon, this was, I think, this is when they really was getting heavy, and then if through that time, through the heavy recruiting, you know what I'm saying, that they were doing, Yo, they was in the hundreds of thousands, bro. I didn't know. I never knew that these motherfuckers had their own parade in Washington, D.C.
Oh, I remember that footage. No, I remember that. You don't remember that footage? I remember seeing that footage all the time, bro.
Shit.
I remember when they always talk about Klan, and you look at the old footage of Klanmen and people hanging people from trees, and that footage resonated with me for a long time. So I seen it again, and it always gives me goosebumps when I see it, man. It's like, yo, it's crazy because I look at it like, yo, I'm looking at 200,000 people right now that if I walked down the alley and they saw me, they want to kill me, bro. You know, that shit was that's fucking scary. You want to talk about something scary? 200,000 people staring at you at once that want to fucking kill you and hate everything about you and know nothing about you.
Yeah, man. Are you kidding me?
Shit. That's
and
you
when
can't
you
see
think,
their faces.
And when you think that so much of it was just misinformation, because back then, kind of like we grew up under a generation where our parents, listen, I'm not shitting on anyone's parents specifically, but I'm just saying our generation of parents believed every single fucking thing that they saw on the television. And that generation back then, if it was in a book, it was true. So all that info, all you had to do was write the shit down, because that was also a privileged thing back in the day. Obviously, not everybody could write a fucking book, you know, like you had
not everybody could read back then.
Exactly. You had to be in a certain level of person to be able to write a book and get it published and put it out there. So then for whatever reason, people just didn't have that. This might not be true, you know, but no, it was, that's what they were just rifled to think. All right, this is in a book. Somebody wrote it down. Someone has more knowledge than me. They were able to do this. This shit is true. So many people
they were more gullible. People were more gullible back then. You know what I mean? They were more gullible, easy to persuade, because they weren't never thinking about somebody trying to scheme them or really too much. You know what I'm saying?
But think about the
power
of this.
Wake up, work, family.
Right.
Yeah. I get that.
I'm back to following that money because not for nothing, these people that were joining the Klan, they put their hoods on. Remember they explained that? To hide their identity, because a lot of these people were politicians. Were like lawyers and doctors. So they're hiding their faces. So now you're talking about people that are wealthy back in that shit. Follow the money, man. How can you make an army grow? You got wealthy ass supremacists. They gonna back that shit, man. They got money.
Now I wanna take it to a first down. You know what I'm saying? Now you got these people, right? These wealthy people, these politics, these lawmakers, you know, judges, polices, lawyers, actors, money, right? All these type of people. Now they join this gang, because that's what I'm gonna put it. They join this fucking gang. You know what I'm saying? With their own personal agenda. They join this gang to be like, you know what? Yeah, I like what they talking about, but check this out. Now I got this backing, so I'm gonna do what the fuck I want now. And what? Ain't nobody gonna know it's me.
Right.
And I'm gonna do it through my gang. Right. So who the fuck going?
You know,
who the fuck going to know anything?
That was crazy, man. The first time,
like imagine that, you know, like that's some scary thinking, man.
You know what's crazy is the first time you hear the word gang, what do you think of? The 80s, 90s, blacks, Latinos, gangs.
Yeah.
But that term more fits better to the motherfuckers they called groups. Niggas are considered groups, bro. A group? You're going around fucking killing people and taking justice in your own hands whenever you feel like it?
A group is 5 to 10 people, man. These motherfuckers had over 150,000 members. It's a fucking gang, man. That's an organization, man. That was a fucking gang, man.
It was definitely a gang. Organized crime,
man. Are you kidding me, man? Yeah.
And they got away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they fucking were able to have street justice. How many of those guys had their own street justice or their own justice of street justice and just walked away from the shit? I just hung 5 people from that tree, and I fucking took a picture of it, and I put it in a newspaper. What are you gonna do about it? The niggas didn't do shit. So
they tried to paint it as they were the vigilante lawmakers and trying to keep things in order, when obviously it was just for their side. You know what I mean? Right. It wasn't for it's like politics today, how, you know, something good can happen and, you know, the Democrats are going to love it, the Republicans are going to hate it, vice versa, depending on the issue. You know what I mean? So they tried to put on a front like, no, we're the good guys. You know what I mean? It's
Right. It's almost like, but I just say like when the North did what they did, it goes back to I think with P when he was like, when they just did what they did, and it's like you did what you did to cripple the South and shut them down. But if you really give a shit about those people, you would have had a plan and action when you released them, and there was none. So it makes it feel. I'm 100% with you that the North just was like, yo, we need to shut them niggas down because they're getting too powerful. So the only way we could do that is to shut slavery down,
Yeah, I don't think that they cared about the people because, like we were saying, the conscience back then was not very strong. It seemed more of a, fuck you, try to survive type of thing. Where, I don't think it was, oh my God, these black people are
right. When I say that is because it's when the country made this statement of standing up and it's wrong and stop, and as a country, and then taking over the South, because the South ain't the South no more. It's a unionized. The union runs that. This is our shit now, and this is happening with what you said was wrong, and you're allowing it to happen because, like you said, they don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
That was the thing is I think that they used that as a front to do what they really wanted to do. Like same thing where we've only gotten one fucking check from the government since this pandemic started. Now we could and should be getting checks every single fucking month to supplement, but the biggest problem is that we put that shit on the table, and then whether it be Democrat, Republican, both sides, they try to add a whole bunch of other shit in the bill that doesn't fucking have anything to do with it. And so that's what it is. So it was almost like a Trojan horse of, oh my God, we got slavery. No, we got to shut that shit down. But in the background, we can use it. We can use this symbol. This is why we have to shut it down. But we know what else is going on. We just ruined all your fucking businesses. We just shut shit down. And now we're, you guys aren't going to be powerful, and you're not going to have enough money to secede now. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want it's same shit. Mom, I want to leave. Okay, cool. Well, you're going to feed yourself. You got to clothe yourself. You got to do all that. And you don't got no job. So
you want to hurt, they said you hurt any empire, like how, hurt the pockets, man.
Yeah.
You want to fuck them up, hurt their pockets, man. I'm going to take away how you eat. How can we get a control of these people? They're getting too big for their own britches, man. Oh,
but it's like
they got a crop field. We'll burn all that shit, nigga.
It's like how you say too, like how you be saying it too, Raps. You know what I mean? Like down south, they're more upfront, right? They're more direct and upfront with it, right?
Oh, they take pride in their racism shit. When
that's what I'm saying, right?
When somebody from the South is racist from the South, oh, he's proud of that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Now I say that to say this now. Up north, they're more they're a little more filterized with it. You know what I mean? They're it's a little subliminal. It's not what I mean by that is not too direct. Right. It's not obvious.
Right. He might really not like black people or really not like somebody because there's something, but he's not gonna say nothing.
Now, with that being said, and with that train of thought, now let's rewind. Right, and go back to where, okay, we got to stop the South. We're gonna free the slaves. They're gonna go. We're gonna hinder them. Right, boom. You know what I mean? But that was their plan was just to gain control all along.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They played on the heartstrings of the slaves. Like, yes, we have your key. In one hand, in your face they got the key. But behind their back, they got the knife ready to stab you with it as soon as you turn and run. Because you know what? They never get. I'm just saying me. I'm just drawing my own conclusion on where, from what I gathered, is like, yeah, we got freedom, but hold on, y'all gonna still be right there where we can see y'all, but we gotta first deal with this because these motherfuckers is way too big. They getting way too big. Right now, we got to kill it. We got to shut them down, and they're gonna be with us. They don't know it yet, but they're gonna be with us. Type shit.
So I'm telling you, it must have been so much easier back in the day to just control people because you got to think that's all it was. Is like are you saying earlier, Raps? Nobody questioned anything. It was just, hey, this is what it is. Like with that movie, Birth of a Nation. Once again. Everybody thinks the shit is real. They're just, oh, okay, that's what it is. That's what the KKK is doing. That's like, oh,
right. They're heroes.
How the fuck do you believe that?
It's like they stood in front of that. If they got in front of their first little TV or the newspaper, if it's in the paper, it's true. It's right.
Yeah.
It's real.
Keep in mind that was the brother of Dixon. Dixon, his brother owned the paper, owned the printing, the paper place that the neighborhood newspaper where they used to distribute the neighborhood newspapers. So in the newspapers, you know what I mean, there was always shit about, you know, Ku Klux Klan doing this, the Ku Klux Klan doing that.
Right. Like you said, people all read back then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you send around reading material. Read this. What else you got to do? You ain't watch. You ain't doing nothing else, nigga. You ain't no smartphone, ain't no iPhone. Read this. Ain't no TV. Read this. And that is how you gain your knowledge from reading. You know what I mean? Of all, like, knowledge is in reading at all times. But back then it was the only time for knowledge is reading. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There was no video or no visual. You couldn't learn by studying something you were, you know, video wise. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, you learn from the reading and then your experiences you had in life. But man, that's just crazy that they were able to, like, it just like, do we evolve as people or do those people still stay around like that? You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you fucking asked that question, because now that I would like to get into the second guy I gave the fucking shout out to.
Who?
You know what I'm saying? The second gentleman. I guess he's a fucking doctor, and it's despicable. It's despicable how he's a professional, a person of a profession.
The guy at the end from the
with the fucking parted bald head, with the you know, grayage pepper. You know,
he was basically at the end. He was
almost at the end.
He was part of a nationalist group. I forgot the name of them.
Where he was, you know, where he was making it to be like, you know what I'm saying? Well, what the fuck they worrying about? They don't want to get in, you know, meaning black people. They don't want to get into a race war. Like, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this dude talking about? Like they don't want they don't want to get into a race war because they're like, yeah, they don't even want to get into that because they know they're gonna lose.
It's so sad. They want it so bad, man. People that think like that. And when they show that about that kid, man, that you know, that shooting in South Carolina, where they ended that, where and mentioned it in the church in South Carolina.
Yeah.
I remember that.
When he was talking about, and then when he said, yeah, when I saw the flag, I knew immediately there's nothing good about that flag at all.
Exactly.
Right. My thing is, like, I knew they were going to. Is like, why would they do that when not even a fucking week later they flooded the streets with the flag and with support for this kid?
Yeah.
Flooded, and that was scary to see too. That's what answers the questions. Oh no, people still are like that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they're out there.
It's just like, I just
the guy we're talking about is Dr. Michael Hill, and he was in the League of the South, which I wish that they got into that a little bit more. The League of the South.
Yeah.
Right. That's gonna have to get its own search up. They probably got documentary on them cats. He says he's not about the violence thing, but he's just about, you know, keeping what he's about his pride and his people. And
bro, he was almost fucking salivating at the mouth. You could see, like, that's what in my opinion, that's what he wanted. He was just like, all right, well, yeah, I mean, they don't know what's gonna happen. If they want it, man, they don't want that, you know, that type of shit where you just
talking this shit. You want it. You want the beef. You want the fire. You want the smoke. You want to kill people. That's what that says to me. For reasons that are just how do people come to this, man, part of life? How do you get to that point where you hate somebody so much and you don't even know why? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even fucking know why you hate. Why? Because of you were raised.
Hate them because they got rights to vote, bro.
Yep.
No, but I mean, that's
afraid.
No, what I'm saying though is that is something that's something that I get. That's a tangible thing you're saying there, but I'm going deeper than that. Where is how in your mind do you go to that?
But you got to understand, sometimes it's not that deep though. Sometimes it's that obvious. You feel what I'm saying? Because what I mean by that
I mean deep rooted.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying with the deep rooted.
Well, just where that evil that lives within people to be that way. You know what I'm saying? That's deep.
Because they were at one time. His father's father was living a certain way at one time. That got threatened.
Yeah, I don't think they're his real feelings. I believe they're passed down feelings that now he has taken on that outfit.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And he didn't. And as a child, he didn't know better. And that was the way.
Yeah, it's not his necessarily real feelings.
Yeah, but I listen. There was a lot of feelings I got from my parents that made me feel a certain way. But you know what? I got to a certain fucking age in my life where I was like, no, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where did that go?
Well, that was
I feel like life
as a
experience.
person.
I feel like life experience with some of these people at some point a light bulb should go off, and it doesn't.
I get it, but
and
for
that's
you,
a
it
deep
did.
part that concerns me of like what people in general, man.
But that was
That's
because
a
raps.
brain defect.
But with you though, but with you, you know what I mean? It was because of your upbringing. Like I can understand. Check it out. Your upbringing, your people's raised you a certain way, right?
Yeah, but I know people that were raised by fucking murderers, man, and they ain't come out like that.
I get it. I right, because they made that decision.
But that's what I'm saying.
Feel me?
They still have a right.
It's within them. It's within them. Is what I'm saying is
still have your own light, though, is what I'm saying. You can still have your own light no matter what you were brought up around.
But some people don't. I feel what you're saying. That's how it should be. That's definitely how it should be. But some people just don't. Like we were saying, there is that mama said shit.
No,
there really is.
I know. I'm just questioning moral society, man. That's all.
That's what I'm saying. But you made that.
You can't get what I'm saying is you can't give me an answer to that, is what I'm saying. I'm asking, but I guess it's more rhetorical because it's really not an answer for it. You know what I'm saying? There's no dissection of the brain of why people act that way. Even if you were taught that, it's still something like you were taught to hate somebody, but maybe daddy didn't take you and teach you how to fucking tie a noose and hang somebody from a tree. You know what I mean? Like there's something deeper to that, you know? I don't know.
I think some people aren't born with compassion. Some people just don't have that inside of them. It's just not what it is.
Thank you. Birth defect. Fuck it. I'm gonna chalk it up. Birth. Carry on. The niggas mental health, man. We forget about that. You know, so they said stereotypes about the South. I don't know if it's true or not. But if so, there's a lot of ancestral behavior. I don't know if that's true, but maybe that could cause think about it. But think about it. How many people now I'm chalking up to incest and shit. Now how many people had ancestral kids that didn't turn out right and probably ended up being some of these people? Who knows?
Could be.
The Kennedys could have been brothers.
I guess, right? I guess.
But I just think even there's that, but there's also still people alive that once again they just never think to question anything. It's this is what I was told, so this is what I believe. Now, if anybody says anything else besides what I was told, I don't believe them, because for whatever reason they believe the source of information that they had. And whatever that is, whether that's a parent, whether that's how they went to school, whether that's the news that they saw, bro, people still believe the fucking news that they watch on TV every fucking night. And I don't understand how that happens, but there's still millions and millions of people across the country that do that. When they watch the fucking nightly news, Fox, CNN, whatever the fuck it is, and they believe every fucking word that is told to them because this is the news. They're giving me the news, and they wouldn't lie to me. And it's just,
I know people like that. I got family like that, but it's you know older, usually older, like you said, because that's part of their generation. You seen the news?
Like no, that's
like
what
Mom,
it is.
we're from a different generation. We don't believe everything on the news. We're from a different generation. We have different backup proofs of things, and you know, it's like
I think you're answering your own question, bro. That's just me personally, but I'm just saying.
No. What it is you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. It's like I know where it's coming from. I know where the teachings and how people can be and what can be taught to you. I was talking deeper into mankind. You know what I mean? What is it that doesn't connect with? Like, hey, if that was me, I wouldn't want that. That's not right. And it's like, well, it ain't me. Fuck that. Better you than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's just some people are born different like that. You know? Yeah.
Like think about
it. There's people
that's all it is. It was just human nature then.
Right.
I don't understand how somebody could fuck up a dog. Like the dog isn't doing anything to you. A dog is super nice, and like you can find videos on YouTube of kids hitting dogs with fucking skateboards. I don't like. I would murder that person if I was next to them. I don't understand even how your mind works in that direction of why you'd want to hurt that animal. I don't get it. But like I said,
they got a bad experience. They could have had a bad experience with a dog. You know
right. It's like bad experience, or now you're going out looking for every dog to hurt. Like I remember this cat back in the day that fucking we were outside. It was a stray cat. He was petting it, and then you know he had a BB gun in his pocket. He fucking pulled it out and he fucking like threw the cat in the air and then fucking pistol whipped it. You know what I'm saying? Like hit it in the air with It's like what
That's
you know,
some
we
other
we,
shit.
we spazzed on him. Like me and V, you know, me because we're animal. We grew up around animals.
Yeah.
We have cats at the house and shit. So you know what I mean. We was fucking we was kind of going in on this thing. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Mhm.
Oh, they tried to bite me. No, it fucking didn't, man. Like you just took a reason to do some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? We just watched you and don't fucking try to bite you. You just did something stupid because there's something wrong with you.
That's where I can draw the parallel of there's certain people who just for whatever reason they don't have any sort of affection or connection to animals. Then you got to go with down south. They refer to slaves as animals. So there's people that still make that connection. And it's just, unfortunately, some people were born different without any sort of sympathy, any sort of empathy. And I feel you. I don't understand it, but I do recognize that there's just people that don't have that part in them. You know,
I don't want you to think I was in denial. I reckon I get it. I mean, I know what it is. I was just like rhetorical, but at the same time,
it's more of a brain buster of like, I don't get how
do people do this, man? How you know? But it's and that makes sense. I mean, you go into like I was taught a certain way. Now you get somebody that was raised a certain way, and then sprinkle in a little fucking mental health problems. The nigga's fucked. You know what I'm saying? Now he doesn't even have reasoning rights in his head, and he's like a trained soldier, but you can't cut that off now. I just trained you to be a fucking killing machine mentally, and that's all you're gonna know now because you were born without the capability of reason.
Hey yo, it's like my man Alfred said, man.
It's hard.
Some people, my man Alfred, my boy Alfred, man, from you know what I mean, Bruce Wayne's butler. Man.
Oh, Alfred. Okay. The butler, got you.
Yeah. It's like what he said, man. Some people just want to see the world burn, man.
Truth. You know, bad people still exist, man. I've said it before.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like me, like
I know,
us,
but
like,
you know what's so shocking is like I guess the numbers of you always like to feel it's a minimalistic number. And I think it is comparative, like how large of a scale I'm thinking. But to see a drone of 250,000, you're like, what the fuck? But you know
that's
what?
Scary. That's scary, bro.
There's a couple million more in that country that don't believe that. You know what I mean? Or I'd like to think that at least. You know what I mean? That is a big amount of number, but on a bigger scale, it's really not. You know, that's how I try to think that because it's like, man, when you see masses of people,
I'm with you on that. I'm with
you.
I'm
When
100%.
you see masses of people like that, you're like, that's scary. But I hope that that's just a fucking drop in a bigger pond that I'm looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And not that pond is bigger than I'm actually seeing, and they're just a drop that came out to show us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is what y'all niggas is? How many more you motherfuckers? Show your faces, all of you. Like, I want them all to show their faces, man, so I get a head count, nigga.
That's how many bullets I gotta load up just in case. Yeah.
Right?
But you know what was a crazy head count, man? When he dropped that fucking gem of how many fucking different nationalist groups were like, what did he say, like 928 or some shit like that?
Man, yeah,
something insane that made me think like this guy actually did research to look up these groups and found 928 of them, bro.
Because
that's
again, this guy's a proud Scottish man for the good reasons. And he wants to really be like, yo, listen, man, we ain't really about this shit. But
he was tight. He's like, look, man.
Yeah,
I mean, but he was just
to
more
me,
like
to me.
Right, because everybody, and that's the thing, man. I always say, man, everybody likes to take pride in their culture, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot. I mean, maybe some people don't really care as much, but sometimes, people like to take pride in knowing my great-great-granddaddy did something, or my granddaddy was this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it boils down to, excuse me.
It's all right. Take your time.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I lost track because we were talking about the pride of the
No, but yeah, like if
what guy were you talking about? Because the guy was important.
No. What you were saying was taking pride. You know what I'm saying? How this guy was prideful Scotsman saying like, yo, you motherfuckers is fucking up my shit, man.
Right. And it's like I said, it's like when you want to take
like for real.
Right. Nobody wants to take pride in that part of the history. Like you think of one person today that's like, I mean, maybe there are some, but like there's not many people that are proud to find out that hey, listen, my great-great-great-granddaddy owns a lot of slaves, man. Like, they're not. People aren't like running around proud of that shit.
Well.
Unless
Nowadays,
you got some of those ones. Well, some of them you do. They're coming out the closet. You know what I mean? But
nowadays that shit ain't cool. You know what I mean? Back then it would have been, but now it ain't.
Right. But what I'm saying though, regardless of the fact, I wasn't around, 80 years ago or whatever. But if I had a great-great-grandfather that served in that war and was considered a hero, that was the sense of pride you wear on your shirt and you talk about. My great-great-granddaddy was a hero and he did X, Y, and Z. Don't nobody want to fucking sit there and like, yo, my great-great-granddaddy was an asshole and he owned people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a terrible sense of pride. So I feel him like, yo, man, we are from, but it's because of his research brought him to the early settlers, and when they did things, they try to bring a Scottish way of life and almost tarnish that with what they were doing. And he didn't appreciate that because it was like they were oppressed, man. These were oppressed people that left for a better opportunity in life, and to see what they turned and what they did when they got here, I don't like that. It's a sense of a chink in the armor, you know, where it's like, man, I thought,
bro, he said it off the rip when he came on the scene. He said it, yo. What I want to know is what made people that were oppressed to be the oppressors. He said that clearly in the beginning.
Fear, man.
Yeah, that's it, man. A fear of a group of people that you guys fucked over and treated like pure shit and was evil to them.
Right, and the fear when they first came here of being accepted into this country. The fear of this, the fear of that. Oh, you guys own people? Oh, we want to do that too.
You know,
keep up with the Joneses.
And now, you know, but the historian, the first historian with the glasses, now that guy you're talking about, he made it seem he made it seem to where like the first settlers were first like, you know, blue collared individuals, which they probably weren't, you know.
Well, they left what was considered to be a good thing for some, but for them it was like, no, it ain't.
Yep. When they all went out to pursue a better life.
Right. That's what he said. That was like his key thing that he was hung up on, O'Neill, was the biggest part of their Scots migration was the pursuit of happiness.
Yep.
He said that was the biggest part of them, pursuit of happiness. So he was like, where did that get lost in translation now to what the hell you're doing? You know what I mean? Like, how is that making you happy?
I like how he put it where eventually he's like, how is what you're doing to these other human beings even registering as normal in your head, you know?
Right.
Even though, like, yeah, you were pursuing a better life, pursuing happiness, and
I get mental health is out there, and I'd like to chalk it to that, but at some point, is it like, was it in masses like that? You know what I'm saying? Could it be a massive amount of, or is it just a combination of you got your good amount of mental health people, good amount of parent upbringing, then you got a good amount of just had a bad incident in life, and I got a PTSD from it, and now I feel like the only way to get right is to go around and hate people.
First settlers that came from Scotland, you know, they were more of the blue collar workers work, you know what I mean, where they were working class, you know what I mean, and you got to keep in mind, you know, he was saying that at this time when you have the Scottish people settling in, you also got the beef going on between the British, the English, and the Indians. You know what I mean? They got their battles going down too because they trying to take over their shit. The Indians ain't trying to hear that, so they fighting back.
Right. Well, the Spanish, right? What's that war? The Indian War, 1812 or something.
And so what he was saying also was that, yo, all he said was, look, you see this ridge line? You motherfuckers keep all y'all beef and all y'all problems over there. As long as y'all don't come past that ridge line over here, y'all straight. Because if y'all come over here with some bullshit, we going don't get it fucked up. We gonna fight you niggas too. Yeah, we gonna fight you motherfuckers back. You know what I mean? But we don't want to, but we will. So just as long as y'all stay over there, we good. And that was, you know what I'm saying, pretty much what he was saying in the early days. But then, you know, from that, you know what I mean, came to the plantations and all of that, because, you know what I mean, I would be the same way. If my people were oppressed, why the fuck would they be oppressors in themselves? Why would they want to do some shit that they didn't want done to themselves?
Because they got rich and didn't know what to do with themselves.
So, you know, so now that led to the plantations. From the plantations led to a way of life that was getting, you know what I mean, to that way of life now becoming threatened because they was being too big. So now that was getting threatened. You know what I mean? Then they lose a war. These people that they oppressed now got freed. You know what I mean? they getting scared that these people going to treat them a certain way and try to kill them off.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of shit.
Right. And in any normal head, why wouldn't you think that? If I just fucking tied you to a fucking pole every day and just fucking kicked you, and then one day I came and you was off the pole, what's the first thing you think I'm gonna do? Yo, hey, hey, I ain't really kick you that hard, right? What are you saying at that point?
You don't fucking kick me.
It's like, no, you just kick me every day for the last fucking, 30 years, but today I'm free. And you go, no. Hey, I didn't kick you that hard though. Come on.
One of the things I didn't understand, they kept talking about the comebacks, right? They kept talking about how they came back, but then the numbers were so different, but they were still saying words like full force. Like how we were saying, there was like 200,000 at some fucking march. And then like 15 minutes later in the movie, they're like, and then in the 1960s, they knew that the KKK was back because there were 3,000 of them. I'm like, of course, 3,000 is still
what? But it's a good thing to see that. Like, I'd like to feel a lot of those people just had an awakening, and hopefully, you would think that it's like either awakening or worst case scenario, they died off and they fucking spread that disease to enough people that it just continued on.
Right.
It's like hopefully it was like if you passed away and you was that kind of guy, hopefully you didn't have any kids. Like, let your fucking bullshit die with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where we gotta kind of get to, hopefully. But there's still people that are spawned from it, and it's gonna be some more generations, man. When it gets a little differently, I think we're not gonna be around for it. I wish we could keep ourselves around for another 20 years, but I'd be interested in seeing that. If I can come back as a bird, maybe.
Well, I still think that there's the whole thing with like it's akin to terrorism, where like you're never gonna get everyone. Like there's always gonna be some dumbass that believes some dumb shit.
Right, and the numbers will fluctuate because people are gonna eventually get tired of it and drop off. You know what I mean? It's like it's not that it's still around, but it's not as strong as of a handheld. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, and with the you good. And with the internet and the youth, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to go to you for nothing, Dad. The bullshit you telling me, I'm gonna cross-check everything you're saying is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're so far from that.
People are actually living experiences. Like you got to think back in the day, it was you couldn't even admit that you thought a person of color was attractive. You know what I'm saying? Right. Come on, man. We're way beyond that shit now.
How about let's talk about my man too, that guy that was the glasses who
in the suit. Yeah, talk to him. Talk about it.
He was the one that he was talking about his great uncle or whatever. Uncle, I forgot, Uncle Charles, or I forgot what he said the name was. He said, big into entertaining women, or however he said it. The nigga was a male hoe. Well, he was like, they say he liked a lot of women of color. He was attracted to brown skinned women, you know what I'm saying? And he had biracial children. And the way that the Klansmen that were in that area decided to stop it.
The old guy, the old white.
They trapped him. They pulled him over and boxed him off on the side of the road. And pulled him out the car and they castrated him, man. Like this guy was castrated. So you know what I'm saying? It was like, you won't be having any more kids with anybody else black. I tell you that much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
Can you peep that though? Like they made a decision to have him stop doing something.
Right.
Peep that.
It's crazy because you think about it, the way they thought with certain things was on such a small scale that it almost was like that was a victory for them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just thinking, like, you know how you think before you go to bed? Like, how is it that there's this dude over here in bed, like, oh, that guy likes black women? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that fucking up your sleep to the point where you have to go and fucking dick off? Like, how is that affecting?
It's like I said, I think that what I was saying is like, it's just for them, stopping one person is an achievement. You know what I'm saying? Almost like when you get a radicalist Muslim who's a self bomber or whatever, you know what I mean, blows himself up, and he only killed one person, but to them that's a great holy achievement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they want to kill more when they do that, but if they could just get one, they're happy with that. You know,
I
that's
just to me, it's like, do you think now that gentleman is not attracted to fucking black women anymore? Like, well, that's my thing of course, yes, you've cut his dick off. Now he can't have kids, but my thing is just, what do you think you accomplished? That's what I don't get.
They took what I would think, because they just said, huh, that's one less god awful creature born on this planet from those fucking, you know what I mean? They stopped one person from having a biracial abomination in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're one thing to be black, one thing to be white, but you sure as hell don't mix the two. We don't want a vanilla and chocolate milkshake around here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it was almost like probably considered worse to them. You know, like you said, what personal? Like, I've never took anything personal about what another person did with their genitalias. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm so mad. Yo, what up? Nah, man. My nigga P stuck his dick in this badass chick, man. But he don't even know her like that. I'm so mad at him. Like, what? I never really lost sleep over shit like that. What he gonna do with his penis is gonna be his responsibility, or what happens with that, not mine. I shouldn't be up late night.
I never really could understand how people be like that.
Right, it's just like, I'm so mad that a man is gonna stick his penis in another man's butt. That infuriates me. I'm just sitting there. It makes me giggle a little bit. So I don't know. But it's like,
I think you just made a TikTok, bro, because I think we can just cut that and put that on TikTok right there. If anything, it makes me giggle.
Look at two burly ass dudes. It's a silly scene that I don't want to envision. You know, it's just, you know, whatever.
What I thought was crazy too was, what about in the 60s, President Johnson literally has to make a speech about the KKK, telling people like,
LBJ.
yo, get out of
this
shit.
You better get out of it. We're running down on you niggas. Get out of it.
The first LBJ.
Mm-hmm.
That's because people's voices force these, you know what I mean? And that's the power of protest, man. And the power of people coming together, and you force these things on. And in the country, it's almost like he probably didn't want to, but he probably was forced into that. You know what I mean? Civil rights movement was big, man. You get more people involved that aren't just the people that are oppressed, and they get, you know, allies and shit like that. Puts the pressure. You get the right amount of people to put the pressure on somebody, man. They're gonna fold like a napkin at a barbecue. I'm telling you what.
It would have been very violent. If he wouldn't have did that, it would have been very violent on both ends.
Yeah. And I still think, man, this might be a controversial opinion. I still think voluntary segregation could work in certain circumstances. Like, I feel like if you are a black person that hates white people and do not want to live around white people, and there is a community for you to go to, and that happens, I feel like you should be able to do it. And the same thing, if there's somebody white who only wants to be around white people, blah, 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 and there's a community and they can go and live over there, do it. I like those are the complete outliers. So I don't understand why, like,
you can't force those people into a way of life that they don't want to be in.
And how about we let them go and do what they want to do so they don't fuck up everything for us? You know what I mean? In my opinion, the normal people that, cool, your skin color is different. So who gives a fuck? Like it that
right.
But the people that do have all that shit, I think, are just messing it up for everybody else, you know?
Yeah, it's
I agree.
They're trying to push out there, like you said. And I agree with that. I feel like, in a way, I can see that happening, but then it's almost like that's something I feel like will happen for so long. You know what I mean? Because good old mankind's gonna kick right back in, and what's gonna happen? Hey, they got more whatever I'm looking for or need or want over there. They got in that community, and then you got to now barter skills with certain communities. And now if you can't reach that point, now you got like civil war within state lines of all that group and this group, because of maybe a handful of people formulate a group from within that community that wants to go and start attacking people, and basically brings that drama for the groups. And it's only a small bit. Like Muslims get a bad deal because of the handful of the radicalists extremists that use that religion to do what they do. And now people that are of that religion are kind of like, yeah, man, nah, they're like in the middle, like, guys, it's not us, you stupid motherfuckers. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
What other radical group has a museum? Answer me that.
And maybe Hitler does, and German. They don't idolize him though. He's a teaching tool of what never to do again.
But Hitler and the Nazis is something different.
There's no statues of Hitler in the fucking square of Germany somewhere in Hamburg, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's in a museum, if anything. Sure as hell ain't on display in the public as a reminder.
Their own museum.
Right. And that was the thing I think we took out of that last one when we watched that Columbus, where it's like, you know what? For like a Germany and some countries that did shit, you know what? It will help them a little bit is that the country and in themselves, they took ownership and they didn't take pride in the bullshit, and they actually showed a little bit of shame for what was going on. Yeah. You know, our country never really doesn't like we don't really like to do that. You know what I'm saying? No, like, guys, relax. We're gonna figure out something. Don't worry about it.
Come on, are you kidding me? We're the big dog on the block.
Right. You can't, but it's the best way to explain it is like, and Mr. Trump can, I use him as an example just because like it's just the way it works. Can you explain when you said that 60% of people in these communities are like, what did you mean? Or you ask them something like that. You're like 60% of people, they like hot dogs. What do you mean by the 60% of people like hot dogs? What I'm saying is hot dogs are really good. They're a good source of protein. Protein is good all over the world. And, people need these things to survive. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, he does that for fucking 6 minutes, and to the point the fucking reporters sitting there like, wait, did he answer it? Or he just fucks you over. That's basically what they're doing. Just
double talk.
Right. Bullshit the bullshit. Yeah, double talk all this shit, and you mean none of it, and you have a hidden agenda. And you can't tell people about your hidden agenda because it's a secret and you don't want to know. You just want to attack. And only people that know are the people that are rolling with your movement.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree that though, man. I think that'll help too with those people that your asshole people, keep them over there. But then you're gonna
keep the assholes with the assholes.
But then you get that thing of how we are talking about how there's fucked up people that don't have that sense of empathy. And that's just people, any group, any race group. You can have the guy that's fucked up in the head, office rocker in the black community, and it's like, you know what? I really don't like all those guys. I know they don't like us and they got their own shit, but I want to go over there. I want to fucking kill one, or I want to do. And he's not in his right mind, but he want to go start some shit for no reason.
I could see that. I could definitely see how it could
right.
become a target.
You get a bunch of crazy young white dudes like, dude, let's fucking go down there and burn some of them brown fuckers, man. Or like, it takes 2 or 3 of those motherfuckers to go and actually do it. And now what does that turn into? Now that turns into your people are attacking our people. And it really was just 2 or 3 out of the bunch that decided to do some dumb shit. But nobody's going to see it that way. It's going to be like, yo, you as a whole are responsible. Just like at work, man. One motherfucker fuck up, what happened? The boss talks to everybody. Hey, guys, listen up. We got to do some changes around here. Like, nigga, talk to the nigga that did the shit. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
fucking whore.
Yeah, I don't want you to say it out of the way. Like, talk to that nigga like, hey, listen, guys, we can't do that anymore. It's like, I never did it the first time. Thanks. But it'd be, and people just.
But how about the guy that went on the rock and declared himself the Grand Wizard? Huh?
The Imperial Wizard.
Was weird.
That's how that shit started. Did even see how that started, and to tie in all the Celtic stuff to all their rituals and ceremonies, they use their Celtic and Scottish background as almost like, yeah, let's do that. Almost like you probably don't even give that much shit about your pride of your country. You probably didn't even have a chance to really read a book about what happened there before your time, but you think it's cool to represent your people that way and just put a cross with the burning cross on there. You know what I mean? Or how they explain the Confederate flag, which was an interesting one, was a combination of a Celtic flag, I think.
A Celtic flag. Yeah, it's a Celtic flag.
It's a Celtic flag. They basically emulated the X on that Celtic flag that they showed.
Right.
That's
and
what
put their colors.
Confederate flag for. So it's like basically the whole Confederate. God, I hate to say the Scottish immigrants were the ones that are kind of responsible, but it kind of feels like they're the ones that bred that lineage of people that eventually became that. Maybe not the original settlers, but I think their kids.
Their kids, right? That's what I want. That's what I strongly believe. It wasn't the originators themselves; it was their offsprings,
right?
Kids.
And what could happen easily? You're new here. What happens to the new kid in school? He gets fucked with. You know what I mean?
Get picked on.
Right.
Yeah.
So now he loses his shit and he snaps and he comes in with a gun or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not right for him, but you see why he took that left. But you don't agree why. You're like, damn, bro, just go talk to somebody. Like, yeah, you can come up with all that, but like I said, he's not right in his mind to do that. And who knows? Like, you know, the immigrants that first came is like, hey, we're here about peace. We want to go on. We're gonna go further. You guys, and that kid's growing up. It's like, hey, man, we're getting picked on all the time, mom, because I got this Scottish sandwich and nobody else got one, and they keep picking on me. You know what I mean, or whatever. You know, the case may be. And as they get older, it fucks with them.
Doug,
And,
did you just say Scottish sandwich?
yeah, I don't know what that is.
Reuben.
Whatever.
Reuben, yes.
See that? You know what? I didn't want to pick one and give it to them because if a Reuben's not Scottish, that almost makes me a little racist. So
yeah, you're right. You know what? You're right. I apologize for you.
I just said a Scottish sandwich because there's
my
a
bad.
sandwich staple more than likely.
Because I don't want to give that. I don't want to get that vibe off either. You know what? You're right.
Right. Those guys all eat corned beef. I don't know, do they? I don't know who does that. I don't know who does that.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Hey, I kind of sound ignorant by saying Scottish sandwich, but that's all I had in my head. There's a sandwich staple out there in Scotland. They know what it is, and I know.
It's got to be so. So this is the flag of Scotland, and you can see,
right.
Yeah, there it is. That's
Scotland flag, man. That's the Confederate flag, brother. Yep. So the Scottish heritage lineage were responsible basically for that big part of what the South became, and that was new findings to my knowledge, man. Of like I said, it never really was. White America. Nobody ever really pinpointed like the German ancestors or the English. I just assumed it was the English ancestors.
That's what I thought. That was
because they had
right
because they had the most way about them. But then you think about that too. The English settlers were another ones that came here because they were oppressed.
Yep.
They left because they were tired of the English rule, and they came here to rule other motherfuckers.
Or the king and queen, yeah. America's racism, right, comes from other people that were oppressed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It is. It's kind of like they get the power and they want to do it themselves instead of like I said, instead of doing something good with it.
It's like you don't want to be free and equal. You just want to be the one that's doing it, and you're almost
the one that's on top. Yeah.
You were jealous the whole time. You left because you were jealous, not because you were oppressed. Yeah, you were oppressed, but you were also jealous and you wanted them more. Because you could have stayed there and gathered the troops with your people to fight the oppressed. Yeah. Hello. William Wallace did. Braveheart, one of my favorite movies. Talk about him.
So it looks like the Scottish sandwich, and hey, I would try this. It's a salmon sandwich over here. Tender seared salmon on toasted bread with avocado, tomato, and a homemade aioli. A sriracha sauce can be added as well. I'm not mad at that Scottish sandwich.
A what?
I just had salmon the other night.
Sriracha. Aioli. So a little hot sauce.
I like that. Sriracha's a little spicy.
I like Sriracha's got good flavor and just the right amount of heat.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of flavorful heats.
That's the Scottish. I like that. I'm gonna have to.
Hey, I just had salmon the other night, man. By the way, beautiful,
nice,
beautiful stuff.
You got to try the Scottish shit. It's real good.
Yeah, but I tell you, man, that whole finding out that the Scottish were like kind of like the big influence, like the Scottish. I can't just say the Scottish because I don't want to make it seem like as soon as the Scots got here, they fucked everything up. It's like eventually that lineage that got to the point where these guys became that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, because I think they said the first settlers, when did they come? Did they give a time frame for them? I think it was
probably,
like
but yeah,
mid like 1600s.
You sure? No, they were the Scottish. They was in the They was in the 1800s.
Was that the only time? Was that what they're relating this story to? Was like with the Scots migrated in the 1800s? Is that what that was?
It was all the same time.
I think that was around all famine and
it was all the same time. Yeah, it was all that same time. It was all that same time, bro.
Right, and it's funny because when you look at it, if you really look at some of the bullshit that happened in between. It was like the newer immigrants that came here are the ones that brought some shit. And almost like they brought it because they were trying to blend in. Or, you know what I mean? It's like the big migration of the Italian immigrants. And they were fucked with because they were Italian. And they kind of grabbed Columbus and latched onto him and made him there. It's like, well, you guys think he's a hero, right? Well, guess what? he's Italian for real. His real name is Cristoforo Colombo. You know what I'm saying? They latched on him. Scottish came, was like, hey, they latched on to like the Scottish pride of things, and hey, we'll show you how to do things. We'll own slaves and we'll have these great plantations and watch this cotton go. You know what I'm saying? And cotton grows in the South. You can't grow that up north. You know what I'm saying? If they're a majority Scottish that settled down there and now they got a little bit to do for themselves and they invest in buying people in cotton fields, they're going to flourish. They're growing that shit year round, man. There's no stopping that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to him, man. I'm ready to vote.
All right, who goes? I'm gonna go on this one. All right.
Well, P.
Oh yeah, P pick
goes first, then you, then me.
All right.
All right. I gave it a 4. I gave it a 4.
For Knaps.
I broke balls earlier saying that it was fucking all this, and I just want I do that sometimes to test the waters to see what you guys are gonna say. I know I shouldn't say this because now it's fucking it up for me, but I sometimes do that just to fill you guys out. But I see that you guys are really intrigued, so I was like, all right. But yeah, I gave it a 4. The reason why I gave it a 4 was because the guy killed it at the end, man. He fucked it up. Like the lady was explaining some shit and how she was, had hope for changing, and she was about to get into some shit, and she starts crying, and it's over.
So 4,
like
really,
it. Really, like really.
You know what's crazy about that dude, man? He did, but I tell you, the realest shit that guy said was, humans, we're just gonna fuck it up. That's what we do. Yeah, that was probably the realest thing. Out of all his ignorance, he said that was the realest shit he came out of his mouth.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, at that time. That's all.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just talking in general. He just said humans are gonna fuck shit up, and it's in general. It's like I kind of almost feel like that. Yeah, I guess we do.
But within that fuck up, we also tend to learn from the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's how you learn in general.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I gave it a fork in that box. You know what I'm saying? Because of the ending, but it was educational. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of fucked up and foul. That the offsprings of the original settlers for the Scottish people fucked it up for them. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of felt bad for homie, you know what I'm saying, the narrator, you know what I mean? Because I could sense his pride of his people back home, you know what I mean? He's very strong and he's very prideful.
It was tarnished for him a little bit in a sense
and it kind of hurt him to see what, what America was doing to his, you know what I'm saying, to his fucking tradition and customs, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yo, it's like finding out your great grandfather was a pedophile, man. You don't own that. You know what I'm saying? You don't brag. You don't brag to people about shit.
While he was a priest.
Right.
He was a priest.
It's not a proud moment. My great granddaddy was that priest that molested a bunch of kids back in the day. That makes you proud, Exactly. It's not a thing. It's not gonna happen.
that type of thing. But yeah, all in all, it was very educational. But yeah, fork and naps, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go 3.75.
7.5.
3.75. Almost had a 4.
Talk to him.
I took 1 1/4 off because it kind of just fell down a weird slanted hill at the end there. I don't know. He ended it with that guy I didn't like. But I felt like but then again, I feel like he ended it with that guy as the awakening shock factor part of society of his documentary. You know what I mean? This is the guy that I need. They still exist. And this is the guy that's going to end my story, that when he says, man, because when he said that, he goes, you know what? Me being the humanitarian that I am, man, I really hope he's wrong. But it almost felt like he had almost a slight look of belief of that in that guy's eyes, like, man.
Of truth,
are there a lot of people like that? Yeah, are people really like that? And is that really a thing? And that could happen, and that's scary. And I don't know. I feel fucking sad now. But I really enjoy this one though. He's the one who took the quarter off. I would have gave it 4. I didn't give it a whole 5. You know what I mean? You have a little bit of roundabout about the Klan. But this was very informational for me as far as the origins to him, and what the symbolizes mean, and what the sheets represented, and with their flag and the Confederate flag, and how they basically started all that. All that came over from immigrate, buy some slaves, cotton business blooms. You start running with it.
So yeah, cotton candy, clothes, whatever. It's cotton.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You get shut it down, and then you got nothing, and then you go on a warpath. It's almost like in a different sense. If there's a good documentary, I should look and see if we can find it. It's called I think it was called 22. It was basically about like incarceration shit. You know what I'm saying, about the systematic shit behind that. And they had used a reference in there. Oh my god, what was it? They had used a reference in there that was about the gangs. They were talking about how gangs formulated and Bloods and Crips and stuff like that. And when they were breaking it down, they were like, listen, it started where you said we didn't consider ourselves a gang. It started the same way these guys said. We were just a group that hung together because we were ousted. They were out, like they couldn't go join because of racial shit, but it was different for them because they just weren't allowed to. You know what I'm saying? The other guys were just
Yeah.
But this was like the guys like, yo, we couldn't join the Boy Scouts. We couldn't join certain things on because of the neighborhoods we live in. We couldn't join that. So we formed our own little group. You know what I mean? Of course, of the Crips or whatever. They formulate their own shit. He said we got labeled a gang. They labeled us a gang. We didn't come out like that. So it's almost like these guys try to come out with their own like way of thinking because of what happened to their grandparents or whatever, parents, grandparents, a couple years before that, couple generations lost. And they finally feel like, that really bothers me. What happened to you, great granddad? I need vengeance and justice, and we're gonna formulate a group, and this will never happen to us again. You know what I mean? And they really believe that shit.
Yeah.
But from the Scottish's influence within it all, the lineage of them, I did not know that. And
that was shocking. It was shocking.
They said Scottish and Irish. Irish were a part of that too. And I feel like when my lady comes home and she has 29% Irish in her, I got to talk to 29% of her because, I got to explain to her, listen, 29% of your people that run through your blood upset me. I need to learn you how and why. But
I'm laughing because you're laughing.
But it's I'm not hanging up and hating on any like race of culture of people. That's not kind of anything that's gonna do anything. Doesn't sit in my soul. It's not what I do. But the knowledge of knowing that how it started, because I'm a big how it started person. I like shit like that. How did that start anyways? I might ask myself that and never look it up in this good old Google thing. Sometimes, and that's one of the questions that pop up in my head, like, oh man, how did that shit start? Like I looked up the saying, what the hell was it saying? You're joshing me. You know that saying? Hey, you're joshing me? Come to find out what that is, there was a guy, first name Josh, I forget his last name, what he was doing back in, you're talking like the Wild West time, the Western times, and that era. He was going around and making counterfeit money. So then he was like putting this counterfeit in and taking out more. You know what I'm saying? So he was always flipping and getting back. So he was conning people and tricking them and just, you know what I mean? So it turned into, yo, you joshing me? West Side? It's like, you joshing me. So that guy and what he did became that reference. So I looked it up one day. So shit like that. But to find out the Scots were spearheading that whole movement of that, and their lineage kind of carried the torch from there and then turned that torch into crosses to burn them, was very informational. So I get that 3.75 melons, man. I just took 1 1/4 off, for just some of the silly things in there. The reenactment shit was kind of, I get it, but it was irrelevant a little bit to me. But I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, yeah, we're teaching history, or you're just finding out reasons to run around and act like a goddamn fool.
You don't see the Indians reenacting their shit.
No, I know they don't reenact. This is well, you might get it a play.
No, you might. They might tell you a story of it, but you don't see them reenacting the shit.
Hey guys, gather around. We're gonna show you what people did to our people back in the day. Gather around.
Yeah.
But
This doesn't happen.
I give it 3.75 melons. I actually really enjoyed it. So the knowledge that I got from it and the presentation, and shout out to O'Neal, man, for him going on his own little personal conquest for his own gem for his soul because he wasn't discovering anything new here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was the whole thing. This wasn't any a new thing. It was new information to me, but I don't think it was new in general. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to he and we for watching that. You know what I'm saying? 3.75.
No doubt. I gave it 3 out of 5. It was cool. There was definitely some informative parts, but I will say the biggest thing that took away from this for me is this felt like episode 1. You know what I'm saying? To where this I felt could have been like a 2 or 3 part series. And even P, I share your sentiment exactly, to where when the woman at the end was explaining herself and then he stood, he's like, oh, hold on, and then just hugged her and it was credits. I was like, I didn't understand the ending.
He tried to make a movie.
Right.
He tried to make I think, create a sentimental moment there at the end. And
I agree. Yeah,
it didn't relate that way. It's just like nobody. I didn't tear up when I saw it. It didn't fit for the soul to cry when you.
It didn't feel to me like he solved racism with that hug. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like everything was over at that point. It was cool. It was informative, but there were definitely. I felt like it only being an hour long. It suffered a little bit from that. I feel like a lot of stuff
they squeezed in.
Really quick.
Right. They probably left some shit out, squeezed in some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could feel that. As a documentary, informative, but as the documentary presentation and some of the missing information or whatever could have been.
Listen,
better.
man. The dude, the you know what I'm saying, the ending, man. The ending. The fucking ending. That's all I gotta say, man. The fucking ending.
The ending. The ending was goofy, but the other stuff I enjoyed learning about it. Obviously, I had no fucking clue about the whole Scottish thing. There was any chance to learn something is always good, and I definitely learned a couple of things out of this one. It was interesting. Like I said, just kind of almost too short, where I felt like they were skipping over stuff, and it didn't feel like like there was a conclusion. Like we said with the end, it didn't feel like it almost like they stopped mid-sentence. And
he didn't
like how people talk about the end of The Sopranos, where it just hits a black screen. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Right. He didn't do it. He didn't, I guess the best way to put it out there is he didn't in writing terms, I guess, or he didn't give a good conclusion to his
he didn't put a stamp on it.
Right. This presentation, your teacher's gonna mark you down on your conclusion. In conclusion, your conclusion sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It gets no better than that. It was a black screen, bro. It was a black screen.
It's just the way he ramped up to where he just basically, it ended with him sitting there going, now what? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I found that out and now I'm emotional about it. And he just felt really let down as a humanitarian that, man, maybe there really isn't hope for people that feel a certain way. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to feel like he was searching for some sort of light in a dark place that he thought he was going to find. And he just saw more darkness. Like, shit, it's really bad down here. Oh.
Yeah. I wish he pressed the dude, Michael Hill, more, the dude from the League of the South. I wish he pressed him more I could see it because, it's not necessarily his battle, but I almost wanted that dude to, man, say what you're really trying to say instead of
saying
a bunch of words. That could be.
He was trying to be respectful with it, but in a sense, it's like you don't want to be. Tell him what you really want to ask him.
It was one of those things. I wish you would, man, say how you really feel instead of the kind of you're saying a whole bunch of words that don't really mean anything, and you're kind of hinting at certain things, but you're not really saying it.
I think he was just trying to, almost in a sense, he knows he's dealing with what to him probably is like I'm dealing with an ignorant-minded person. So if I kind of come at them with a challenging approach, they're gonna digress and turn into like ignorant. Your asshole, I'll kick your ass.
I
don't know because he was talking about them being on the same side.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
Right. Well, he sat on the same side because he was the right complexion to talk to. He was Scottish. He was Scottish. So it's like he's like, we're Scottish. You're Scottish. This is why we're talking. You're from my motherland and my people, so we have the same blood going through us. He kind of was hinting at, but like you said, I think Homeboy was scared to challenge what he felt was wrong and what the guy was saying. Like you said, that's what I'm thinking about what you're saying. Like he didn't really say how he felt. he was scared to challenge him almost. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yeah.
I didn't take it that way. I just took it like he seen where he was. I figured he was more of like, yeah, you're an asshole, and you know what? You're gonna just explain
Right.
in your own words and tell the people in your own words
right.
why you're.
He did a
this
different
asshole.
approach. It's like, I'm not gonna come at you. I
Mhm.
just want you to put it out there so my viewers on this documentary can actually say, no, people like this exist. See?
Yes.
He went
yes,
light. He went light.
yes.
He went light on right. Like I said,
He did.
he could have opened up a big bucket without attacking the guy, but showing
He could
his.
have.
He could have just like went down the line. Like, don't you find it? You know, throw some real hard questions at the guy. I feel like you know, like you said, you took it easy on him a little bit. You gotta throw some real hard shit at this dude, man.
Mm.
If you're going into this, hopefully trying to get something in that guy's head, which you really can't change a man that's been that long thinking that way. You know what I mean? But maybe you might have said something that could have jarred him. I don't know, but make an attempt. Make an attempt, nigga. But yeah.
True. Overall, it was cool, man. I'm glad I, you know, like I said, anytime I learn something, I'm happy with it. So that shit was good for me.
Hey man, the fucking Scottish, they got it. They got a little taint on them too, I guess, huh?
Everybody do. Ain't nobody say.
Everybody got that taint.
Everybody got that taint.
That tanky tank. Everybody got that stank tank. That stinky tank. Yeah, that's like the name of a fucking album. Yo, what's that album? Stinky Tank coming album.
That's a shirt if I ever saw one.
Oh my lantern. What we got?
Take me a picture real quick.
Take me a picture, yo.
This documentary is called The Last Stop, and it's about reforming kids. This is about the bad kids, you know what I'm saying? And they send them
Father's back, yes.
And then they send them to this fucking place in Maine, and they do questionable things on how to change their character and make them, you know, the person that they would like them to be in society. So hopefully you guys should be able to hear the audio because it's going to play out of my speakers through the microphone. So hopefully you'll be able to at least hear some of it. So here's the.
I love what you did
stop.
with the background, sir. Love what you did.
Oh man, wait for the music video. It's all about that.
Give them the duh.
Can it be from Elon Musk?
That's their scared straight tactics, is what they're trying to say.
Yeah. No, and that was a halo of used tampons. That's what that was.
What?
Around her fucking head. That was not.
That went from funny to disgustingly disturbing.
What?
Yeah.
Were they her tampons? We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I don't know.
What the fuck?
Daddy, would you like some tampons?
The last stop is not going to be at Elon for me.
Wow.
That's when you argue with your kid one day. He's like, I take your ass to Elon school. What? Yeah,
there's where my mom was trying to send me then.
I'm telling you, that's
Never
that
know,
old,
nigga.
She kept telling me, I'm gonna send your ass away, far away too.
Elon. Well, we're gonna find out on this documentary where the location is, and that's gonna be great.
He said it was in Maine, I think.
It's in Maine,
said, no?
yeah.
Oh, they said Maine? I didn't hear it. Oh, Maine. Okay. Oh, that's not that far. Yeah, that is far.
Shit, nigga, Job Corps out there.
6 hours. Well, we drove out there that time. 5.5 hours was fine.
Try 8. Yeah. Try.
No, we went to Portland, Maine.
8 hours.
It was about 5 6.
But yeah, like I said, it's one of those places where they use questionable tactics.
And shit. Right.
Yeah, man.
Let me humiliate you so you're not bad anymore.
That's what it seems to be. So.
Wow. Oof. Tough love.
That was not cool.
And I mean, I have to assume the place is shut down now. I mean, but I'm sure we'll find out. But wow.
There might be an underground Elon school going on.
Oh, I could. Yeah, man. I mean, shit. All prison and halfway
Copycats
houses and shit like that.
Get the copycats like, yo, we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it better.
Yeah. Oh no, there's always people like that. Where like, see where they messed up. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not gonna do it like that.
That's every other dude in jail. Every other dude in jail that's gets out and does something else that somebody told him, like, yo, you just got to do it this way.
Yeah,
he ain't that good either because that nigga got caught, but you're gonna listen to him anyway.
Exactly.
Well, what's wrong is this and that.
I can see this place somewhere in Russia.
Gadzooks, Vlad.
Mother Russia. Like it.
You know what I mean? Somewhere in the Sudan.
Sudanese. Okay.
Them type of areas, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, brothers. This Docs with Fat Cat, man. And
Beirut.
you know, we I got the credits rolling already. Look at me. That's because I'm getting tired. I love you niggas. Docs with Fat Cat every week, once a week. Digital Boys Club. That's the name of our shit.
DBC.
DVC, the Digital Boys Club. Get involved, man. We do movies, we do documentaries, we do pornos.